Welcome to Stand Up for the USA, the show that celebrates our American liberties and honors the men and women that sacrifice themselves for freedom. We'll explore our American history and get to the truth about what's going on in our country today. And we'll do it with music, comedy, drama, and good old-fashioned storytelling. Welcome to our Patriot Story of the Day. Our Patriot of the Day is a Canadian pastor who made headlines in 2021 because he refused to close down his church when the Canadian health authorities ordered him to do so due to the COVID restrictions. He chased them off of his property while calling them Nazis and the Gestapo. This is the kind of story we need to hear every day, and it's happening more and more all the time because we are fighting back. This is an incredible story you don't want to miss. We'll be right back after this short word from our sponsors. Our Patriot's name is Pastor Artur Pawlowski from the Cave of Adullam in Alberta, Canada. He has been in a legal battle with the communists that have taken over Canada and the police since May 2021, when he was arrested. Why? Because he demanded his right to worship by holding church services. He was charged with contempt for violating Alberta's COVID rules and fined $23,000 for violating health orders. They eventually released him on an 18-month probation period for, quote, organizing an illegal in-person gathering. And he was not the only one. This was happening worldwide. COVID was used as a means to scare people into submission, to give up their legal rights in exchange for the safety governments were offering. It was a lie, a false sense of security and safety. Benjamin Franklin said, quote, "They that can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." Mr. Franklin was right. We must never allow them to shut our country down again, under any conditions. If you're fearful and you want to stay home, you stay home. Those of us that need to get out and want to get out and produce and be productive and work, we're going to do it. You're not going to shut us down again. The hypocrisy of our governments during this period is so obvious when you look at just one fact. The governments forced churches to close worldwide, but Walmarts and the liquor stores were allowed to stay open. It was the same tactic used when over 500 riots were organized by the Democrats and their military armed services known as Antifa and Black Lives Matter here in the USA to scare people into submission. But the pastor refused to be intimidated and stood up to the authorities and kept his church open until they came and arrested him as if he were a criminal. When all across America, thousands of people burnt down homes and businesses, beat and terrorized citizens, and even murdered people in the name of equity, and no one was ever held accountable for those felonies. But a man who wants to worship God, a Christian, now that's a threat. According to the communists and the totalitarians now in charge, he must be punished and made an example so other people would fear resisting as he did. This authoritarian attack on the people worldwide is an integral part of the fascist plan being implemented right now. It goes hand in hand with the attacks on our fossil fuel industry and the New Green disaster, justifying the irresponsible socialist spending that is breaking the backs of working American citizens with out-of-control inflation, and they are just getting started. Their plan to destroy the USA from within is right on schedule. 100 years is not a long time when you can gain control of the whole world economy which is what they're after, and the power over the people that they will control. But this pastor's fight and his suffering is an example that we can win if we refuse to kowtow to the demands of the communist tyrants. Pastor Artur Pawlowski challenged them under the law. He just recently won a huge victory. He has won a legal battle over what they called, quote, a breach of COVID restrictions. The court ruled in favor of Pastor Pawlowski, describing the ruling as a, quote, slam dunk win. The Court of Appeal made a unanimous, sound decision and overturned the finding of contempt against my client, Miller wrote on Twitter. The three-judge panel ordered that the findings of contempt in the sanction order are set aside, meaning they're set aside, they're gone. The $37,000 in fines that he paid to them are to be reimbursed. Reacting to the news, Pastor Artur Pawlowski told Rebel News, quote, I was speechless. When I learned that this was a total vindication, I stopped talking. When asked if he would change any of his action during the COVID restrictions, he said, quote, every single thing I did it from the heart and would do it all over again. Quote, leave the pastors alone. Leave the clergymen alone. Leave the Christians alone. This country was built on Judeo-Christian values, the supremacy of God, and the rule of law. He continued, quote, we're not criminals. Those that did that to us are the criminals. And I hope one day we will be able to go after the real villains and charge them for the crimes that they have committed. Thank you to Pastor Artur Pawlowski for being our patriot of the day and standing up to the COVID tyrants. We survived it. We survived the first biological war against the people of the world. We must stand together and make sure they never get away with this again. Please click that like button and follow us. It's the only way for folks to find us. And please use your social media to share the show that stands up for the USA. Go to standupfortheusa.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. You'll get a 30-day free pass to our premier product online. And our hysterical new comedy is coming soon. Don't miss it. Only available to our patrons. I'm Craig Singleton, your host. Have a great day, folks. And please keep up the fight for the USA, the greatest nation ever created in the history of the world. God bless.